weekend at camp. Can y'all just give us an update on how the D line's going so far?
Me personally, I think we're looking pretty good. We're looking extremely good. I say the best D line I've been with by far since I've been here, and I think we're just ready to attack the season. We're ready for the season approach and get here and get things rolling.
Yeah, I think we're looking very dominant. I think we still got a ways to go. I think just about everybody on our D line has a lot of room for improvement, and I think that will happen as the season goes on. So, I mean, I'm just excited to see everybody elevate, really.
New defensive line coach every year you've been here. So this year with Deke back, how nice is it to have a little familiarity there?
Yeah, yes, sir. It's very comfortable. I know what I'm getting. I know what to expect from him, and he holds us to a very high standard. So for him getting him back here this year again is a really big deal for me.
Is this the most depth they've had on the defensive line since you've been here?
I feel like yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You talk about last year you were a new guy transfer in. Can you talk about the transfers and how they've looked? I know some of them are interior, but the forward transfers.
Oh, I think it's made a big impact for our D line. Without the transfer portal, we'd have about, I mean, defensive end about 3 ends that actually have in-game experience is all we would have if we didn't have the portal. But because of the portal, we got about 6 ends that have started in Power Five college football. So I think that'll be really big, having guys who can rotate in that know what they're about to go up against. So I mean, I'm excited to see how it goes.
Here with all the people coming in at midterm now, the high school kids,
Yeah.
but the three defensive linemen that signed with Deke, none of them came at midterm. What have you guys seen from those three kids?
I think they're all really athletic. Like I think Ian, being almost 400 pounds, he moves extremely well. And then I think Caleb can move really well, and I think Quincy is a phenomenal athlete. I think the only thing holding them back is just really the learning aspect, being that early on. They just need a little bit of time to fully get the playbook down, fully understand what they're doing, so they can move at the highest speed possible. Because that's the only thing slowing them down is just not knowing where to be at the right time, stuff like that. So they just got to learn the playbook more, and I mean, it all comes with time. So I think they'll be really good players for us.
A little more on the injury report. I was wondering what you guys' initial impressions were of the guy that walks in at 6'5", 394, and just how has he been in the locker room in addition to your team?
He's huge, and we just try to get around him and coach him up and give him all the intel that so we didn't get as coming in as freshmen. So we just try to help him with that edge, just so he can get an advantage on college football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing I really like about those three freshmen that came in. They're all really eager to learn. They're always asking us questions, they're wanting to get better, wanting to learn. They're not sitting there, I mean, not just happy to be here. They're actually wanting to get better and wanting to learn. So I think that really is going to help for us a lot in the future as well. And I mean, I'm so ready to see what they'll be whenever they can fully just take it all in and get used to everything.
You said you go up against Devon Manuel quite a bit. In the spring, was he all the way down to 282? I mean, it says he would I know he'd lost a lot of weight, but he's back up about 310 now. What have you noticed with him since the spring to now? Like where has he improved? And stuff?
His confidence, you could tell he's playing a lot more confident. He's moving really well, and he doesn't really second guess himself as much. Like if he messes up, he takes it in and then fixes it the next play. So I think his confidence is getting a lot better. His footwork's always been pretty good, but with the size now, he maintained his speed and put on a lot of weight, and I think that's helped him a lot. And I think he'll be a really good tackle for us.
You thought it's the best defensive line you've been a part of. What makes you feel that way?
I just we really care about each other. The chemistry in the room with each other is really like a true brotherhood. And whenever one of us is having a bad practice, we uplift each other, we talk to each other, we communicate to each other. And whenever we're one person is making a play, we all start making a play. It's just how the dice roll. I feel like we really feed off each other.
Lane, you talked about Devin. What about some of the other offensive linemen, especially the guys that haven't played a lot, like excluding, Limmer and Latham? Who else on the line standing out to you? Maybe you both could address that.
I think Patrick Kudus has made a lot of leaps since last season. and I think they got him starting right now, and I think he'll hold that role as well. And I mean, he's a really strong kid. He's squatting not as much as Bo, but really close to it. And then I mean, he's really strong in the weight room. He's good with his hands. He just I'd say the only thing he has to do is just, I mean, continue to learn. That will really help him a lot. And I think he'll be a really great offensive lineman, especially whenever he gets into his older seasons as well.
Especially guys.
I think the new guys that are coming in, they're stepping in, they're picking up things quicker, and they're learning from the vets. Brady Latham is a really good offensive lineman. It's great feet, great hands. We go back and forth, each practice to make each other better. Bo is doing a lot better on his combos. He's really digging in there in the hip and banging across and climbing up to the next level. And then Brian, he's a really great offensive lineman. He has really great hands. He has good length, and he really has good weight. So it's very hard to move him out the way. And I just try to, point out their weaknesses before we get to the season so they can perfect their craft.
Tomorrow, but what's your take on the scrimmage? What are you looking to get out of that, both personally and from the team?
From the team standpoint, just for our defense to take another step, take another leap, and really dominate tomorrow. And then personally, I mean, me and TC both can say that. I mean, Coach Adams told us at the end of practice, everybody's competing for a position. So to go out there, compete, and play, I mean, think of it as a game. Go out there and try getting to the quarterback, try getting off blocks, making plays, and not think of it as just another day. I mean, think of it as a game and make plays.
I really agree. Yeah, tomorrow is a really big day for the D-line to see what we can do chemistry-wise in the game setting.
Coach Adams was just in here kind of talking about the potential of a 3 deep rotation. I'm just curious, have either of you ever been a part of a defensive line that can kind of go 3 deep? And, when you think about that potential, what stands out the most to you?
The last time I've been a part of a 3 deep defensive line was the year we went to the Outback Bowl and we went 9-4. It was the Ridgeway, Nichols, and then me. And, of course, we had, the end depth, but this depth is just way different. It's just a way different type of vibe. We have finessers, we have powerful rushers, and we have speed rushers. So it's just kind of a mixture of everything that we can just play into it. So you can't just study for one thing. You got to study for all of it, and you got to expect who to study it for. And with us rotating and flipping sides, like it's a chess game, not checkers. So.
I heard the previous spring, but does that even enter your mind, or how do you deal with that? I guess mentally and physically.
Me personally, I like to try to go harder because the harder I go, the less I think about it. And if I put myself in uncomfortable situations, I'll get comfortable in those situations. So I try to put myself more in harder positions in practice. So for when I get in the game, I've been there. I've done it. I repped it, plenty of times. And I try to make it, repetitive, because repetition builds instincts.
Zeke said he hurt his knee too. Like, is that something like he talks to y'all about?
Yeah.
This is what I felt. This pushing through it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. All the time. We talk about it all the time. And then we just kind of piggyback off of it. And I got to go back in my head and just think, hey, everybody's been through it. You just got to keep going.
Yeah. Same with you, Landon.
Yeah, I think I remember telling TC this spring whenever he first started working back in, is that like he was just I could tell he was getting mad at himself during practice, and I was like, bro, your first few weeks back is not going to be the same. It's going to be a little different. And I told him it really just comes with time, the confidence. So he just needed more reps, and I think he's finally getting to the point that he was before his surgery. And I think as the season goes on, he's going to get more confident and then get back to normal. So
You said there was a point in spring that you felt like you reached that point, mentally, right?
Yes, sir.
So what about Cam? Tell me about Cam. What do you think of his strengths?
I see 5 go to work. He is different because he has the potential to be a power rusher and a finesse rusher. He can bend the corner. He got speed. He got quickness, but he also mainly impacts in power. So he can beat you up the field, club you inside, and you're gonna fly because he's very powerful. And you're gonna overset because he's very quick. You gotta respect him.
Making the rotation. What do you think?
Yes, sir.
What about him?
Yes, he's very big. He's going to call us very, very versatile. He's going to be able to make offensive linemen respect him. They're going to have to honor him. They can't just let him go. And they're not going to leave him singled up. They're going to have to double him. So with the double, when us running a 4 down, somebody got a 1-on-1, so somebody must win.
We don't recall as many 300-pounders at tackle as maybe y'all have right now. How
Yeah.
does that feel?
We have a lot more weight in the room, and that's good, through health wise and game plan wise, because it's not, offensive linemen, they're gonna have to come with it when they see us.
On football, but Deke Adams' sons got called up to the big leagues. What do you guys think about that? Maybe what do you see from Deke? About that.
I mean, I was excited for him. He talked to us, and last month was the month where his mom passed away as well, and he said it's crazy how God does things, because he had the worst month and the best month of his life all in the same time. And I mean, he was just very excited. I mean, that was one of his goals of a father his whole life, is to see his son play in the majors. So I mean, I'm happy for him. I think it was great. He got to Coach Pittman allowed him to go watch that game and everything. And I mean, I just know he's really excited.
Yeah, he brags and boasts about his son all the time. He compares life setting situations that he goes on, with him and his son, to us. So we know what to expect in our future. You know what I'm saying? If we wanted to go pro, just all the similar scenarios and situations.
Sorry, I remember on day one, I was looking at my roster and I was like, who's 93 here? And I was like, oh, okay, that's Keely Rose. And then you go up and you're standing next to him. And I mean, you guys are like the exact same size. And I look at the roster, you're listed at 6'3", 303, both of you. Are you guys similar players? What are your, what kind of player is he? Is he a lot like you think?
He's more of a finesser, a speed rusher. He most definitely adds versatility to the interior, because he can hold the point at the same time, but his craft is speed, finesse, really bending the corner, getting off the edge, and just really making the guys split the two.
More of the power guy.
I think of myself as more of a versatility. I can pick and choose just whatever fits the game style.
And Landon, I was going to ask you about Quincy Rhodes. Like, what do you think about his potential, his upside? Where is he going to be in a year and your mind?
Oh, he reminds me a lot of myself when I was younger. I try being a great mentor towards him, and just his thing is he wants to take in too much at one time. He wants to learn so much, but he doesn't realize how young he is, and he just needs to break it down and get the basics before he tries learning the whole thing. So I mean, I try to help him out as much as I can. I think he's really athletic, and I think with time he's going to be a really dominant player and definitely end up being an NFL player someday. So I'm really excited to see where this place takes him.